We all want to be successful.
Yes.
But people are willing to do whatever it takes.
Come on.
I'll cut you down. I'm going to talk about this person. I'm a back door to get where I want to get to. I'll be angry. I'll say crazy stuff. But then I'm either praying or in my mind, oh, this is going to work out for me. No.
Right? You got your hope misguided. It's not firmly placed in the right place.
Yeah.
And so patience is not, you're not having the patience because you're not level set.
Absolutely. Yo, we're back.
We are back.
Yeah, rise and stay the course.
Rise and stay the course.
Yo, I hope y'all doing all right. Everybody good?
Yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day to have a good day.
Exactly. How was your trip? It's nice.
My trip was amazing. I can't believe that my niece is about to have a baby.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
So I am in that stage of life where I'm seeing everybody grow up except for me.
Right. Awesome. Well, yeah, let's get into it. We got some things to unpackage today.
Yeah.
Let's start as always with prayer. God, we thank you for this day, this time to just be together with my sister and our audience and the people watching and connecting with us. We ask you to just give us what we need to unpackage these thoughts that are on our mind and let it flow. Let the individuals who are connected, let them leave with something that they can apply to their lives to help better themselves. And we give you all the praise, glory, and honor. Amen.
Can y'all feel that? I mean, how could you not do your best work like that?
Yeah, real talk. Yeah.
I just instantly took a deep breath.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh, so what we got here, Thaddeus?
So we got 3 critical keys to staying the course. Yeah, and
we have another friend here is joining us on the podcast today.
Absolutely. Yeah, I haven't really.
Is it Sweet Georgia Brown or no?
Sweet Georgia Brown. No, this is.
No, you know who that's from, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The king of blues.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you the king of all things Thad world.
Hey, absolutely.
Yeah. So we have, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, you good.
3 critical steps.
But yeah, we're talking about the 3 critical steps to staying the course.
Staying the course.
And I'm excited to really dive into this because staying the course is, I think we're all in some way, shape, or form, we are direct conduits of what it means to stay the course, whether we recognize it or not. But it's become my mantra, and something that I'm living by, something that I have to reflect on every day. But I took a couple notes, and for me,
can I ask a question though?
Yes.
Before you dive in,
absolutely.
How did you come up with this stay the course idea?
Yeah, great question. So stay the course. 2 of my close friends, Ashley and Christopher Foster, they got married. I think actually today they're celebrating their 2nd wedding anniversary, but they got married a couple years back. Yeah, congratulations, guys. But the day of their wedding, me and Dee were there. We were handling production and, doing the whole wedding. We met Ashley's father, who I now call Dad Topos, Mr. Bill Topos, nice. Amazing man. I believe he'll be a guest at some point.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
On this podcast. Yeah, but he was talking to me and Daryl, and he stopped us in the hall and said, I'm just proud of you young black brothers doing what you guys are doing and to see us being entrepreneurs, speaking encouraging words into our lives. And he said, all y'all got to do is stay the course.
Yeah.
Y'all just have to stay the course. Everything that, God has for you, everything that you guys are going to do, it's going to come to pass to stay the course. So ever since then, literally, it was like a fire was lit inside of me, inside of us. And it's just been something that has opened up this amazing world of possibilities and everything that's coming from, this podcast to my life's work to, the merch and everything that we're doing. It's a movement, you know what I mean? And it's something that, that I live by. I think we live by.
Correct.
But that's where the conception of it came from, and it just caught.
I love it, and I want listeners to know. The great thing I think with us is that we fill in the gaps. Maybe we're thinking about people listening in the audience that he's talking about Daryl Shears,
absolutely,
who is your business partner, your brother. Yeah, absolutely. Everything in between. And Touchdown. Touchdown
absolutely.
Agency, Touchdown Company, is the entity that you all have been building from scratch.
Absolutely.
And if you listen to one of the podcasts we talked about before, we were talking about how we met.
Yeah.
And that's how I met you.
Absolutely.
In that particular space, which was fire.
Yeah.
Okay, so
absolutely.
Now, okay, now I will give people context. Let's dive in.
Absolutely. So, key one for me is faith.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, faith for me is a huge part of my journey. And I think in anything, whether you believe in God or whoever you believe in, you have faith.
Correct.
in something. We all do. But, for me, one of my favorite scriptures, Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance.
Come on, bring it through.
Of things hoped for.
Hope for it.
The evidence of things not seen. But talking about that faith, having faith for things that we hope for, but it's evidence of stuff that we cannot see. So, whether it be wanting to start a business, wanting to do well in life, show up well in your marriage and your relationships, you got to have faith to believe that you don't know how you're going to get there, but I believe that I'm already there. I have this hope, that is deep down inside of me that keeps me going, right? And that is a major key to staying the course. You got to have faith. Without that, you are just walking blind, aimlessly, and you're going to run into a lot of different walls and things that will knock you off track. And I believe that in the world that we live in, so many people are just going through the motions, and what they set their affections on is what somebody else done, or, what people think of them. And they don't even exercise faith, to get to where it is they need to get to. So, but faith is a major key to staying the course. It's very important.
Yeah, I like the idea of substance.
Yeah.
Right? I feel often people don't understand that word.
Yeah.
I want to break it down a little.
Okay, break it down. Yeah.
Substance. Yeah. When we put thoughts into the atmosphere, it begins to create a thing.
Yeah.
Substance.
Yeah.
Right? So, can you read that first part of the scripture again?
Yes. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for.
So, what are you hoping for?
Yeah.
Right? Because whatever you're hoping for is creating substance in your life.
Yes.
Sustenance, edification, which is really coming all together.
Yeah.
And I love that idea, because when we think about substance, it's just this little teeny weeny particles coming together to form a thing.
Yeah.
That's what God can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's beautiful.
That's so good.
And evidence, of course, being an attorney, I'm like, what's the evidence? It's unseen.
It's unseen.
You can't even see it.
No.
So if you don't have a practice that we were talking about last time,
absolutely,
you won't see it. If you're not as self-aware,
come on,
you won't see it.
You will not see it.
If you're not managing your emotions, you won't see it.
Oh, that's so
faith
good.
is something else.
That's so good. Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about your personal faith, your personal journey with faith.
Yeah.
Like, how's that come about for you?
I think honestly, and I'm thankful, I was raised around it, right? And, I grew up in a Pentecostal church, Christian background, and I seen it all around me. It was modeled, from mom to dad to my grandmother, who I affectionately talk about all the time, Doris. Oh my God, you would have loved her. She would have loved her, and she would have loved you. She was just the sweetest person, but I watched it be activated, from my mom being a single mom, and of course my parents, my dad was always around, but there was faith to continue on. My mom graduated, went to college at Temple, was degreed, but just a lot of ups and downs with trying to find consistent work. Companies closing, going from here. Had to have that faith to believe. She activated that. My grandmother, Doris, that I talk about, had a lot of different ailments. High blood pressure, all of these things that were just happening out of nowhere. But out of everything, physically, there were a lot of issues. But one thing that was never shaken was her faith.
Yes, I love
she
it.
always had that. She always, anytime you went around her, whether she was feeling good or not, it was just always talking about, I'm going to be okay. I remember going to the doctor with her, and her doctor saying, we need to do this procedure. And she's like, okay, well, let me check with my doctor. And her doctor said, well, Doris, you're at your doctor. I am your doctor. She said, yeah, but I got to check in with my other doctor. You know what I mean? My Dr. Jesus, you know what I mean?
Amen.
And, but her faith was so strong and it was rooted, as you say, in the practice. Her practice was spending time with God in prayer and, you know what I mean, in positive thinking and just being self-aware. So for me, it was modeled before me. So at every stage of my life, from being a young child to becoming a teenager to a young adult to a grown man, it was instilled in me. And I think that's something that I carry today. And of course, whatever it is, your faith has to be rooted and grounded. You know what I mean? The foundation has to be proper, because some of us put faith in things that are ever fleeing, ever changing. You know, my faith, our faith is in God.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Things change. The world changes. People change. He doesn't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
so
right.
for me to really say, okay, I am putting everything, you talk about in finance, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. No, when you put your faith in the thing, like you talk about, that pushes, it rules the universe. A lot of people talk about, well, my faith is in the universe. The universe ain't never done nothing for us. You know what I mean? But it is the creator of the universe that is actually pushing everything and making it work in our favor, putting the right people around us, making sure that, you know what I mean, it keeps us from hurt, harm, danger, accidents, dangers. So for me, ultimately, it was modeled for me. I ask you the same though. You know, faith, everything you have accomplished so much in life and are still going and doing things. How did you develop that? Where did it, you know?
Mom. You know, I always looked at my mom as like, is mom home? Because if mom ain't around, is Jesus coming back? Because, you know, I used to watch those little shows. What was that show where the people was like gone all the time? And, you know, like they went up, they got called up. I can't remember that name of that series. Y'all, the people.
Before my time.
The people in the audience are like screaming it right now, right? But anyways, I'll think about it in a second. But if my mom wasn't around, but the issue was I put my faith in her.
Wow.
Right? God, you know, my mom was like, you can't have faith in me. You have to make certain that you're putting your faith in. You have to read the word. You have to have that unshakable faith in God, because I'm just a human, right? And she's someone that I really looked up to, because I never really saw, I mean, even through all of the trauma, even through all of the abuse that we went through, that was the consistent thing.
Wow.
You know, and I had to learn for it myself, you know. So I just want to, you know, even to people out there, you know, if you're putting your faith in people, you're putting your faith in, as you mentioned, all these things will change. They fluctuate. So then it's conditional, right? So when things are unconditional, you want to put your put your faith in things that are unconditional. So because you could say the wrong thing, and then the person that you love the most, who you put all your faith in, is unhappy, then how does that, what's that do with substance, right? And I really just feel that for me, it has been, you know, really just shifting and learning how to have that solid rock. And it took me working on my soil. It took me working on my foundation to really learn that I've got some things I need to clean up. We could do a whole podcast alone on faith. We might have to.
Absolutely.
But tell me what the second one is.
The second one, and you just spoke about it, is that consistency. I believe you have to have faith first to stay the course. Because I have to believe, even when everything looks unbelievable. We have all been in situations, and we find ourselves in times where it's like, how am I going to get out of this? How is this going to work out? Whether it's trying to get to home, you know what I mean? Well, I don't have the money saved. The credit is not there, but I have to believe. I got to have faith to believe. But in that, you start to process sometimes, and things start working out. Now something else happens, and it's like, oh, now what? This is where consistency comes into play. And like you talk about, without having that practice or that foundation, if I am not settled and grounded, everything is shaken. So you have to have that faith, but then it takes consistency. And, you know, I looked up some definitions in consistency and the application of something, typically that which is necessary for the sake of logic, accuracy, or fairness. Marked by harmony, regularity, or steady continuity.
Yeah.
And just thinking about, okay, consistently, whether it be telling yourself, this is going to be okay.
Yeah.
I can make it. I can do this. You know what I mean? Having partners and individuals that you can lean on consistently to where, because sometimes we go through things, and I was just talking to Dee the other day. We were having a conversation yesterday, actually, about some things I was dealing with, some things he was dealing with. And we were consistent at keeping it separate, right? But that's my brother. This is, you know what I mean? This is my partner, not just in business.
Right.
Talking about, this is a life partner.
Correct.
And we talked about, okay, we got to now, because I got faith that everything is going to work out. You got faith, but now we need to build this foundation of consistently coming together in prayer, coming together, not just in thought and ideas, okay, how are we going to do this, but making sure that we come back to that place, and whether it be every day, every couple of days, every week, you know what I mean, you come back to that thing. And some of us have built consistency around the negatives.
Yes.
And this is why we're so tossed. We consistently,
it's like whack-a-mole.
All day, I'm on the phone, I'm looking at this, I know everybody's business, and when it comes time to, all right, what am I going to do?
Right.
People ask you ask the average person, what do you see yourself in 5 years?
Right.
Hey, you know, I ain't think about that. But if you ask, okay, what's the new Netflix show? What's, you know what I mean, what's popular, what's coming down the pipeline, what's going on with this person or that person, they can tell you, because consistently I've built up my, you know what I mean, I've built my jar, or I've built my world around consistently doing the negatives.
Good.
So, you know,
good. You know, it's so good, because I feel like what I see with us is, you know, I love the infinity symbol.
Yeah.
And I love the infinity symbol because there's this, you know, there's a flow.
Yeah.
Right? And infinity means forever. It's going to last forever, and consistency is the same. What I see in the middle of an infinity symbol is the consistency. Yeah. It's the daily practice.
That's good.
Because if you really look at it, to me, I've been up by the ocean a lot lately. The ocean is very consistent.
Yeah.
It becomes tossed when there's like a storm coming. So we have to know that storms are going to come in your life. There are going to be things that are going to happen to you. You're going to feel like, I don't even understand. But if you have rock solid in the middle, that faith and consistency, you're going to be able to ride that storm out.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I just feel like often, if we pay attention, you know, the trees have faith and the birds have faith.
Yes.
You know, they have faith in that God understanding. We know that when we look outside and we spend time in nature, and you spend time like near the ocean, you know that this God is keeping that in the palm of his hands. Yeah. So we have to understand that we got to be that kind of consistent.
Without a doubt.
You know, the trees might wave, but they're not falling down unless they don't have good roots.
Exactly.
Right?
And even when they do, you know what I mean? That's a part of the plan, right? That's a part of his plan. And this is why consistency to what keeps you grounded.
Correct.
To what it is. And, you know, we live in a world where there's so much information now. And, you know what I mean? You got people's opinions and all of this, but you got to figure out, what am I connected to? What am I tethered to?
It's so good.
What am I grounded to?
Yes.
And I got to be consistent in that thing, always, unwavering,
and you know,
no matter what.
No matter what. And you know, we talked about this last time where we talked about circadian rhythm.
Absolutely.
You know, I was talking about shy bows. If y'all remember that, y'all can go ahead and laugh, because I laugh. Yeah. But seriously, I went to Florida recently, and I had the same thing happen. I got off my rhythm a little bit, but then I got consistent. Right? Because I went back to eating well and doing those other kinds of things, and my bowels got consistent. But here's the thing I want to make sure that people recognize is that if you're tuning into this podcast, you're tuning in because you want something consistent in your life. You want something that's grounding. You want something that's just so like powerful. And I just want to let you know that is exactly what you're going to keep getting. Through this podcast.
Without a doubt. No, that's so good.
Yeah.
And that leads to, you know, the next point. You got faith, you got consistency, and the last one that I believe is one of the most critical things. And it's something that I personally have struggled with for a while. And you have these highs and lows, but it's something that I have just had to let go of and say, okay, God, I'm trusting you all the way, and I'm going to put my faith in it. I'm going to be consistent, but it's patience.
It's patience.
It is patience. And
say less.
Yeah, the definition that I seen was
so good.
The capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset.
Oh my gosh.
Okay? So you got to think about it. Like, think about when you
really
traveling.
making us.
You traveling, right?
Yes,
You've been traveling, you know what I mean? You were in Mexico a couple weeks ago. We travel all the time, and we're want to get to where we're getting to. I personally never really book layover flights unless I just don't have a choice.
Right.
But sometimes there are delays.
Right. Yes.
There are delays. Don't mean I'm not going to get there. And
right.
sometimes some of the delays are unexpected. There's weather, there's turbulence, there's all kind of things that cause delay.
Right.
But that patience thing, right?
Yeah.
That is the most important part.
Yes.
Because we want to get to where we want to get to, and we live in a world, again, it's this instant gratification.
Yes.
I start a business, I want to be a millionaire tomorrow.
Come on.
You know what I mean? I start a brand, I want all of these people to support right away. I don't want to put the work in. But when you really focus and settle in on exercising your patience. And I was reading and studying today in my word, Romans 12:12. And I had never even seen this scripture before, but it says, rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, and be constant in prayer.
Yes. Well, that requires someone to have unshakable faith.
Unshakable faith.
Because it's such a circle that you just completed for all of us. Because I believe patience, it's, I'm a yogi, so I practice yoga. And in this practice, it says, and all is coming. And all is coming. But we know in the word, it says that, when you put your faith and trust in him, he's going to direct your path. But then when you seek God first, everything shall be added, but it has to be in the right time.
Come on.
See, because a lot of people don't realize timeliness is really godliness. Because we have to know that we are serving. Everything has a place. There's a season for everything, and everything will come in the right time.
Yeah.
And so patience is something that I know a lot of people, you've asked for it. You're going to get lots of opportunities to practice it. Yes.
Absolutely.
And you should say thank you and be grateful through that process. But you said something which was powerful. You said to not be angry, because here's the thing. I feel a lot of people want stuff to come and but they so ugly and mean along the journey. And why can't you, and this is something that requires us to have that deep understanding of ourselves, having self-awareness to recognize that along the way, if you are asking for something and you're not patient during that process, you'll find that a lot of other things will come to you that are not what you really want.
Oh my God,
because what you're realizing is because you're not grounded in the hope the right way. And so you are attracting things into your life because really, honestly, that's not what you're hoping for, right? No. You got your hope misguided. It's not firmly placed in the right place.
Yeah.
And so patience is not, you're not having the patience because you're not level set.
Absolutely. And we see it so much, and you've had great experience from clients to working in the corporate world. People are we all want to be successful.
Yes.
But people are willing to do whatever it takes.
Come on.
I'll cut you down. I'm going to talk about this person. I'm a backdoor to get where I want to get to. I'll be angry. I'll say crazy stuff. But then I'm either praying or in my mind, this is going to work out for me. No.
Yeah.
Anger. I cannot be angry with you. The other day, I was angry and I was totally out of line. I got angry about something. I was so out of order. And I found myself sitting alone, quiet, right? You really find true direction when it's just you get silent, you get quiet. And I felt literally God speak to me right in that moment, like, you handled that wrong.
Yes.
You handled that wrong. And when I talk about it, and a service yesterday. My bishop T.D. Jakes. I was watching the church, and he was talking about sometimes we need our minds need a bath.
Yes. Oh.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you outside all day, you know what I mean? You get a good workout in, you go to CrossFit. First thing you ready to do afterward, you ready to get you a good shower.
Yeah.
But how many times do we do that for our mind? And when we talk about wanting things to happen, but trying to do it in spite and anger, we are setting ourselves further back. And we have to be in a place to where we exercise love, we exercise that patience.
Yes.
We have to be consistent in that. And we have to have faith to know that, okay, today I didn't hit the mark.
Yeah.
But I believe that I'm going to be better.
So
I can be better than this. I got to show up better than this. And do that over and over again and repeat that step. And that is rising.
Yes.
And again, that is also a part of staying the course.
It's so good. It comes together so beautifully.
Yeah.
I love this. Are y'all feeling this? Because I totally want to be around people who have that type of philosophy and that type of practice.
Yes.
I just got chills when you said that because, you know, when you're going to bed at night, right, I want to give people something to take with them.
Yes.
We talked about rising. We talked about being self-aware, having self-management, establishing a daily practice. We talked about staying the course, having faith, being consistent, and having patience. What if you started to develop practices that mimic those things? And then at night, you could look at yourself and say, okay, so how'd you do today, Diana? Like you said, you sat down, you got quiet and you asked God, like, okay, you think you could have handled that better?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what can you do the next day? You get to wake up and you get to try all over again. That's the beauty of life. But when we don't realize and we don't implement the practices of rising and staying the course, you get so off track.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you sometimes give up too soon.
Absolutely.
And I just want to encourage people out there that, you know, you just have to have that staying power. Muscles and memory and habits are built over time.
Absolutely.
And as a result, in return, you have results.
Yes.
Right. So I just want to thank you so much for these principles.
That's amazing. And I hope that today, you know, what was shared, it touches somebody. I know for me, it speaks to me. And I think every episode when we come together and we've been talking about this, you know, we didn't come together to do this podcast just to talk and have conversation. We do that.
Yes,
this is what we do. We're, you know what I mean? But we want people to leave with tangible things that they can apply. And, you know, that's why we're doing this. This is a part of our mission. So thank y'all for hanging with us always, man.
Yeah. And thank you for your friend.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's gonna be with us from time to time.
I'm loving that.
Yeah. No, me too.
Are y'all loving that?
Yeah. And if y'all
they can learn more about what Thad's World.
Absolutely.
Right?
Thad's World. Absolutely. The music. And again, it's a part of the message. It's part of the movement as well. And it's therapeutic. You know, for me, it's like
y'all need to listen to Mind.
Yeah, Mind.
Dude,
absolutely. Before bed, when you cooking,
when
you know, whatever
working,
exactly.
When you sleeping.
Yeah. So like and share. Subscribe. Share this with your family, your friends, man. We love y'all. Until next time, rise and stay the course.
Let's go.